So now we thought it would be important to hear the voices of people about this question of the occupation in its many ways. And I hadn't been to the city of DC recently, I saw it on television, but to see National Guards people still on the streets and so forth, it's an interesting phenomenon. And by the way, we know that with rare exception, and it's very rare exception, we're talking about, this is the original chocolate city. And what we're saying is it's really the chocolate cities where you have Black mayors, whether we agree with those mayors or not, who are bearing the brunt. And so we want to hear the voices, particularly of some who live in DC, but who may have a reach beyond that to say something about what is occurring. And we're, first of all, really delighted to have the next congressperson, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I will, from the great city of Washington. Well, it's the capital, the state of Washington, D.C., Brother Kamon Freeman from WEAC. Would you please come to the podium and have your say, sir? And he will be followed by Dr. Julianne Malvo, who is young, who needs no introduction. So I'm only saying that because in the interest of time, we want to make sure that she can be escorted to the stage. So come on, you have the floor.
Thanks. Can we give Dr. Daniels a round of applause, please? And I've Phyllis leader for some time, and it's an honor to share space with you each and every time. My name is Kamon Freeman, Angry Black Man in Therapy, representing WEAC Radio on the radical side of Martin King Avenue in the nation's capital. We've been doing that for 14 years. I'm also, as he just alluded, DC delegate candidate. I ran for election in the last election here in DC. I got more votes than Donald Trump got in DC on his best night, so I'm proud of that. So we're going to do it again. And the system is so in arms in an effort to perpetuate itself that they got the next mayor, the leading mayoral candidate, to stand in and challenge me to stand in our way from having someone that's going to flip tables like Jesus on Capitol Hill. So look out for that. I want to make sure that we clear on a few things. One, on the way over here, Laura Ingram's, Fox News Laura Ingrams just said that Muriel Bowser is the best mayor Washington, D.C. has ever had. This is what we're dealing with. And for those who do not know, Martin Luther King's last speech, many of you are familiar with, but next to his last speech, some of you are not. That speech was delivered here in Washington, D.C., March 31st, 1968. It was entitled Remaining Awake During a Great Revolution. He goes on to say in that speech that far too often people find themselves living in periods of great social change, yet they fail to develop the new ideas, the new mental responses that the new situation demands. They end up sleeping through a revolution. I submit to you that's the quintessential definition of stay woke. And it pains me when our people are repeating the words of our enemies when they turn things like stay woke into a pejorative. Dick Gregory says stay woke. Martin Luther King says stay woke. And that's why these people are trying to rock us to sleep. So when they talk about putting ice on ice, some people don't think that don't have anything to do with you. I'm not an immigrant. They talk about, well, this got to bring the military in here to stop crime. Well, that's not about me. I'm not a criminal. And you still don't get it. So let me remind you of the words of the great pastor Martin Numala. I hope I'm doing his name justice. You may not remember him, but you surely should remember these words. He says, first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak. Now, I submit to you that's where we are. I was at the CBC yesterday, and Congressman Glenn Ivey in Maryland said that head chef, the Secretary of War, people think he changed the name. He just changed the name back. It was Secretary of War to begin with. Okay. Forget the brother's name, the father of public relations. He changed that name. But defense is not what they're talking about. They are about war. And he said that he is convening all of the generals in the entire world. You know how many military installations America got around the world? It's like hundreds of them, at least 800 that we know of, are convening in Quantico on Tuesday. Unprecedented, never happened before. And no one knows what they're going to talk about. But Glenn Ivey, Representative Glenn Ivey, says that he has been told that they are talking about implementing the Insurrection Act. Are you guys familiar with the Insurrection Act? That's basically declaring martial law. That's what they're talking about. Because when the government shut down, if the Democratic Party suddenly surprises us and stands up to Trump, because unfortunately the escalator and the teleprompter at the UN has done more to resist Trump than the entire Democratic Party, because the lead of the CBC, Hakeem Jeffries, who has yet to endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor in his own district in New York City, but somehow felt it in his heart to support what's the brother's name? Charlie Kirk. Can't even get that man's name out my mouth without a straight face. He honored the life, legacy, and work of Charlie Kirk. Voted for that, but refused to endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor. This is what we're dealing with. So come Tuesday, I want y'all to pay attention and stay woke and see where we go from here, chaos or community. But I'm not saying this is a woe is me and doomsday, because the American empire is falling. And this is that desperation to maintain itself. So when they go build Alligator Alcatraz, don't think it's just for Hector. It's for Tyrone too. Because when they get done with Hector, they're coming for you. This is our time, the Institute of Black World, to stand together, join together, support the work that will keep us together, and recognize that all empires fall, and we should not be afraid of that. Great Britain was an empire, now it's just England. French Empire, now it's just France. We can survive this, but we have to acknowledge what we're dealing with. This is not about crime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. DC has more police per capita than any city in America. America has more prisons than any country in the entire world. And Mike, the head of the, what's the brother's name? The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, that's his name? His district in Louisiana has a higher crime rate than Chicago and DC. So I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, friends and enemy, stay woke. Thank you.
All right, our Congressman, 2B. All right.